Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Starlight Beacon Transmissions Live. This is episode 87, and we are coming at you live from my recording studio, aka the living room of my apartment. My name is Eric Mitchell. I am your host, and tonight uh, we have a fun show for you. It looks like I'm flying solo again tonight, which is perfectly fine. I've got a lot of stuff that I would like to talk about, some Star Wars stuff and some non-Star Wars stuff. So, just sit back, relax, let's have a good time, chat, interact with us, let's hang out, let's have a good time. So, if you've never been here before, this normally we're a Star Wars show and we talk about a lot of Star Wars topics, but we talk about other topics as well. Like we've talked about some Star Trek stuff. We talked about the Legend of Vox Machina. We've talked about comic books. We've done Comic Con previews, all sorts of stuff. So we're not just Star Wars, but we're mostly Star Wars. I I hope that makes sense. But tonight we have a great show. We are, of course, we're going to be talking about chapter 18 of The Mandalorian, and we're going to be doing a spoiler breakdown for that. We're going to be talking a little bit about the High Republic, as we did get a new High Republic show this week. And we're going to talk about something a little bit different as well this week. We're going to be talking about a game that's coming out in August and September, and we will get to that here shortly. I'm also going to be talking about the Galactic Star Cruiser and all of the news with that. So let's dive in here. No announcements. Have no announcements yet. But oh wait, no, there will be no live show. Let me see here. I had it marked. There's going to be no live show the first weekend in May as hey farm boy, how's it going? As we are going to be doing some Star Wars related stuff, but not here. But we'll be posting on social media and everything, just like we did when we were at Philly or when we were in Philly a few weeks back. So there's that. So no live show May 6th, as we will not be here, but I'll be giving you live updates on all of our social media. So let's get into some of the news here. So I want to start with the Galactic Star Cruiser. Hey, Amanda, how's it going? Yeah, we're going to start with the Galactic Star Cruiser, and then we are going to transition into the High Republic. I'm going to talk about something non-Star Wars related, and then we're going to dive into the Mandalorian spoiler review. It's pretty much going to be the same as my audio review that I did, but you know, not everybody listened to it because they wanted to avoid spoilers. Because sometimes you can't watch these shows until the weekend because we get busy and everything. So there's that. Um, let's see here. Yes, so Galactic Star Cruiser looks like they are actually going to be limiting bookings in October, starting in October. Instead of it being about 3 to 4 voyages a week, it looks like we're going to be getting 2 voyages a week. I believe it's going to be weekend voyages and then like Sunday through Tuesday or something like that. So I think it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but I could be mistaken. Also, from what I hear on low booked cruises, they are actually going to be, excuse me, I'm sorry. That's why we're doing this live. um, on lower booked cruises, they're actually going to be canceling the second dining time. So you're only going to have one dining time when it comes to dinner on the Star Cruiser. Now, granted, I haven't been. I know, I know a couple of people that have been, such as Sarah and Steven from Princess and Scoundrel podcast. Also, Dan from the Dano channel. He's been, And from what I've heard from them and what I've seen from people that have been, it's an amazing experience. However, it's still that high price point. And I have a feeling that Disney is actually going to be lowering that price point at some point because I just if they're this scared about like their capacity for these voyages and they want to bring more people in, you've okay, here's a couple of things that you have to do. And actually going to steal one of these from Dan from the Dano channel because he actually brought up a great point in his YouTube video. What you can do is, of course, you got to lower the price. That is your first and foremost thing. You have to lower the price because it's going to generate more buzz and it's going to get more people there. However, here's the thing. A lot of people say, well, if you lower the price, you lower the quality. Not necessarily, not all the time. You can still lower the price and keep the same quality for this experience. But the thing is that if you do lower the price, you got to step up your game with these experiences too, because you have to make it accessible to everybody. That's one of the things that Bob Iger was doing before he left. And now that he's back, he's trying to get back to that where Disney should be affordable, well, more affordable and more accessible. And these experiences should be more accessible for people. So that's what you got to do. That's one thing. You have to lower the price. The second thing I would say is actually extend the experience a little bit. Instead of making it 2 days, make it three, make it maybe four. Because from what I've heard, you are rushing through this experience in those 2 days. And yes, while people have said that, they do savor that experience and that they enjoyed the experience, one of the complaints was they are rushing through it or they're rushing you through the schedule. So there's that. Another thing is that you should be offering vacation packages with this Star Cruiser too. If you want to if you really want to like have people stay at Walt Disney World, experience the Star Cruiser and then keep them coming back, offer vacation packages with it as well. Either a vacation package where you stay at another Disney resort or do it like that land and sea package that they had with Disney Cruise Line, where it's like, okay, you book a few days here at the Star Cruiser, and then you book a few days like on the Disney Wish, or a week long trip on the Fantasy, or something like that. Now, another thing, and this is actually going to be the thing that I take from Dan and what he said in his videos or his video about this. What you could do is you could actually offer various Star Cruiser voyages from different eras in Star Wars storytelling. So, of course, you could have a prequel trilogy. Of course, Star Cruiser set in the sequel trilogy, right? So, of course, you can still keep the sequel trilogy voyages, but you can do original trilogy, you can do prequel trilogy. Hell, you could even do the High Republic if you wanted to when it comes to the Star Cruiser. Because all of these things, if you continue to like offer a variety of like different voyages and different experiences for people, it's going to keep people coming back because they're going to say, "Oh, we just took the prequel trilogy voyage, now we got to do the original trilogy voyage to see what's different." Or now we got to do the sequel trilogy voyage to see how that's different from the original trilogy and prequel trilogy voyage. And then, like I said, throw the High Republic in there and you've got yourself a grand slam, honestly. Because here's my question to the fans here. Who wouldn't want a High Republic experience on the Galactic Star Cruiser? And you wouldn't want it? My wife said that she wouldn't want it. And Dano is friends with Thank the Maker Pod and also friends with Mike Farson. Yeah, yep. But that's my point though. Like I've also been pushing or I've been asking for myself and other fans asking for High Republic experiences at Disney parks as well. And honestly, I think that that would be interesting. You could turn Launch Bay into Starlight Beacon. Like, you could easily do it, and the High Republic fans would flock to it. Yes, the prequel trilogy era would be awesome. So um I just got done reading Halcyon Legacy, and in one of the issues, it deals with Anakin and Padme on a trip on the Star Cruiser. And how awesome would that be to see Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala on your Star Cruiser voyage as you're doing your story and everything? Um, you could even so for the original trilogy, you could set it during Han and Leia's honeymoon. You could do that, and it would work. Sequel trilogy, it, it's the same. It's going to be the experience that you get now, but in the High Republic one, they get attacked by the Nihil. Wouldn't that be cool to fend off a Nihil attack on the Star Cruiser as part of your experience? So you have material here written by somebody that you contracted out where you could actually make this a reality. So that's what I'm going to say about that. Also, you could offer more park incentive packages too. And that goes back to the whole vacation package thing too, where it's like, all right, you do the Star Cruiser because if you do the Star Cruiser, you're automatically guaranteed admission into Hollywood studios for one of the days of your voyage. Here's the thing though, Disney, you want to experience a lot of the Disney parks, if not all of the Disney parks. Do a package where it's like, all right, you book the Star Cruiser. Okay, we'll give you another day of parks included with the Star Cruiser package. All you have to do is just pay for like a 2-night stay at like one of the value resorts or something like that, or a moderate resort, something. Because I really feel like if you lower the price or if you offer more lucrative vacation packages, you can bring more people in. The whole thing is that this is an experience that people want to go through, but let's face it, the average American can't afford to do this. Like, I'm telling you right now, we go to Disney, but we're taking a break for a while because of how expensive Disney has gotten. Just, because of the vacation packages and everything. So, that's one thing. Like, we're holding off on going to Disney for a while. Well, we're also thinking about doing another Disney cruise at some point. So we're looking at that. But, you know, it's all of these things that they should be looking at. And I think they're starting to, but they gotta pull the trigger on it. That's the biggest thing. You have to pull the trigger on this because if you want to get the people in, you've got to win them in some way. And I think Iger knows that. Seeing Anakin and Padme would be awesome. Yes, yes. Seeing Anakin and Padme would be a lot of fun when it came to the Star Cruiser. Plus, you can bring in old school bounty hunters with that too, such as because Aura Singh's in one of those too. You could bring them in. Asajj Ventress is in that story with Anakin and Padme. You could bring her in. You can do all of that stuff. It's just, are you going to do it? Because if you do, it would be great, and you would definitely get the fans. So that's those are my thoughts on the Star Cruiser. Like I said, I haven't been. Um, as much as I want to go, that price point is still way, way, way too high. And I figured to myself, I could go on like a, a 5-night cruise like a nice cruise line for the price of, or I could go on a 7-night cruise on a nice cruise line for the price of the Star Cruiser, or I could do multiple conventions in a year for the price of the Star Cruiser. Like I could legit go to Gen Con Anaheim, or not Gen Con Anaheim, a Gen Con in Indy, and come back. I mean, buy a bunch of board games and card games and come back, and I would still not even like dip into a quarter of that Star Cruiser budget. So there's, those are the things that you have to think about when it comes to this. Actually, I have one more thought, and then I'll shut up about the Star Cruiser. One thing that you could do is you could do more media voyages again. Bring some more influencers and social media people and more media people to come in and really experience the Star Cruiser and kind of give like a year to 2 year anniversary verdict to see how they're still doing when it comes to the story and the overall experience, and see if it is still worth that price. Yeah, I know it's expensive for Disney to offer that up, but honestly, if you want to get the people in, you've got to start going more towards your social media people. You got to start going more towards media people and influencers to really start to spread the word of this experience. Now, yeah, they are spreading the word, but you need more people experiencing this. Like, you need to bring in fresh eyes, I think. You may think that this is me begging for a trip on the Star Cruiser, and it kind of is, but it really isn't, because I just look at it as you need the numbers. Social media and influencers get you those numbers. Media coverage gets you those numbers. So that's something that you have to think about here, Disney. Do it every once in a while, but I think it would work. Heroes of the Halcyon is a yes. I've actually listened to Heroes of the Halcyon, and they're a great podcast, Farm Boy. Absolutely fantastic podcast. So those are my thoughts on the Star Cruiser. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the High Republic, and then we're going to get into another not Star Wars topic. And my wife's probably going to roll her eyes because I just became obsessed with this thing yesterday and I want to play it, and it's not even out yet. But we're getting to that here very, very shortly. So, with the High Republic, we had a new episode of the High Republic show this week with Christina Ariel coming back and hosting. And I got to tell you, for those of you that listened to our latest transmission burst, it was me gushing over the architects of the High Republic and the High Republic community. And I'm kind of I'm gonna kind of do that here just a little bit, but we got a recap of everything that's going on in phase two so far, and we got some interviews with one of the creatives at Lucasfilm, and like they were gushing about the Acolyte as well as Young Jedi Adventures, which I have to protect Nub at all costs. Because that little Jedi is like the best thing ever. We also had Christina Ariel ask this gentleman the most important question is, and that is, where is Buryaga? Is he okay? And is he coming back? Because us High Republic fans, we need our Wookiee Jedi again. We need him, and we hope he's okay. And then Christina Ariel, hashtag prayers up for Burry, because we love our little guy here. Then we got a couple of previews of some upcoming issues. We did see a brief glimpse at High Republic Adventures number 4, and then we got caught up with the current Marvel comic where we're seeing the Battle of Jeddah play out in this comic, and then we also got a recap of the Nameless Terror, and that was pretty much it. We got some more exclusive art and everything. But I gotta tell you, it was so nice to have this show back and to have just to see the reaction from the community again. I gotta tell you, when it comes to Star Wars fans, I mean, I love this entire fandom outside of that one section that tries to ruin everything for everybody. I'm not going to mention them because I don't want them to get any publicity. But I will say this: the High Republic community, when it comes to Star Wars, is the most kind and loving and welcoming community you will ever be a part of. If you are a fan of the High Republic, they're going to be like, join us, one of us, one of us, and just bring you in and show you their cosplays and their fan art and their fan fiction and the various podcasts that are part of it, like ours, and countless others. It's so cool and so refreshing to see. And I just look at this fandom and I look at all the people in it, and I am so humbled to be part of this community. Yeah, there is a lot of gatekeeping and crap when it comes to Star Wars. Um, and like I said, I'm not going to give them the satisfaction, but they're there. They are there. And they're very, very toxic. But you got to kill them with kindness, but you also have to be critical of them. But I'm not here to talk about them. I'm here to talk about you all. I'm here to talk about the awesome fans. Farm Boy, I know that you're not much of a High Republic fan, but I got to tell you something. When we launched this podcast, you were there supporting us day one, and I love that. Amanda, I know that you've got many hands in different pies of the Star Wars fandom, but you've been there to support us ever since the beginning, and this community is absolutely amazing. And it's people like Amanda, it's people like Farm Boy, it's this entire Star Wars community of just really nice and kind people that are just like, oh, you've got a podcast to share, that's awesome. We'll help you get it out, and we'll listen, and we'll watch, and we'll try to get you as much support as possible. And that to me, it means everything. Because we're in this together. We help each other out. And that's the point of this. The Rebel Alliance was a bunch of ragtag people that came together. Star Wars podcasting, it's a bunch of ragtag people coming together to talk about something that they absolutely love. So I just want to say, when it comes to the High Republic, when it comes to the authors and the community, just thank you all. Like, seriously, thank you all for everything that you do, everything that you continue to do. To Michael Siglane and the team over at Lucasfilm, to Charles, Kevin, Justina, Claudia, Daniel, Tessa, George, Zoraida, and Lydia. Yeah, got all of them. Thank you. Even to artists like Ario Anandito, thank you for everything that you've done and for contributing to this amazing story and this amazing era of storytelling, and just for helping us come together as a community to support you all and to just enjoy this story. So that's that for the High Republic. Oh well, also thank you to Christina Ariel and Kristen Baver um, for everything. If you have not gotten Kristen Baver's book, The Art of the High Republic, yet, please do so. Wonderful, wonderful book with some amazing art. And of course, you can get Marky and Row on the back here. And then, you've got Buryaga, Stellan, Keeve, and Yoda on the front. So get this book. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right, so let's get to this other topic before I get into the Mandalorian here. And tonight, I want to talk about this game that is going to be coming out in mid August for local game shop release, and then September 1st for big box retailers and global release. I am talking about a Disney trading card game called Lorcana. I found out about it from one of my buddies a while ago, and I kind of forgot about it. And then, like, I saw tweets about it yesterday, and I looked it up, and I just said, this looks awesome. The artwork looks awesome. I can't show you the artwork because I don't know how to screen share here in StreamYard, but definitely when I get a hand when I get my hands like on the card packs and stuff, definitely going to be showing you those. This game is done by Ravensburger. They're actually the team behind the Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars Villainous games. Which Villainous is a really fun game where you get to play all sorts of villains. For Disney, there's the base game and four expansions. What's that? Yeah, too many too many expansions to count now, according according to my producer over here. Um, well, whatever. We'll talk later after the show. But it's a really cool game where you get to play as various Disney villains. For Marvel, you get to play as various Marvel villains, and of course, for Star Wars, it's Star Wars villains. And you have an objective, and you have to like foil these heroes while also trying to complete your objective. And the base game, I believe, is Prince John from Robin Hood, Jafar from Aladdin, Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and I think there's like two others, but I can't remember. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about villainous. I'm here to talk about Lorcana. This is a card game that is actually well, it's Disney, of course, and so you have hero cards and villain cards, and then you also have some ability cards, it looks like, and each card actually has a cost, like with Magic and Hearthstone, and each character card also has an attack and defense number. So I'm actually going to go through a couple of the cards here. So one card is Mickey Mouse from the Brave Little Tailor, and so this Mickey is actually an 8 cost, and he has 5 attack, 5 defense. And then of course each card has a keyword, and I'm actually like trying to research all of these keywords and everything, and the Lorcana community, which I got to tell you, the Lorcana Discord server is awesome, and that community is so wonderful and welcoming, and it's just really cool for them to bring in, for like new content creators like myself to come in and for them to, take us under their wing and to talk about these different things. And we're also like trying to like piece together as much of the rules as we can before like we actually get a rule book from Disney and Ravensburger. So with this game, it was actually announced at D23 back in August, and they actually had promo cards that you could get at D23. And yeah, I'm bummed because I would have been all over that had I been at D23. Like I would have been all over that. But anyway, I'm waiting until August 18th to pick up a bunch of cards for my trip in September so I can just play it while I'm on my trip, and of course before my trip. But anyway, let's see here. We have the Mickey card. We have a Stitch card, which is a 6 cost. He has 3 attack, 5 defense. We have an Elsa card, which I got to tell you, this Elsa card is absolutely gorgeous. Elsa's a 3 cost, 2 attack, 3 defense. We have Corella de Vil, which that card is beautiful too. Corella is a 2 cost, 1 attack, 3 defense. We have Maleficent as a dragon at a 9 cost with a 7 attack, 5 defense. Robin Hood, our favorite fox, has he's a 6 cost with a 4/4. Captain Hook is a 1 cost. That's actually pretty good. That's actually a really good cost, and he's a 1/2. So if you need like a meat shield, he's actually one of the things that you want to play early in the game. Get a couple of hits in if you can, and then if you have to trade cards, he's actually a pretty good card to trade when it comes to the challenges, which are attacks in this game. So that's something to keep in handy when you're running your deck, when you're building your deck. You want to have as many like you want to have low cost cards, but you also want to have high, medium, and high cost cards. With your low cost cards, you definitely want to play them early in the game, just to kind of like I said, do the trades and get the pop shots. You have an ability here called Dragonfire. It's a 5 cost. You can actually banish a chosen character. So you can actually send a character to the discard pile, which is fantastic. However, it's a very high cost card for what you're doing. So if you have a big threat on the board, that's when you want to play it. So if you draw it in your hand, keep it for as long as you can, until you absolutely need it, because some of these cards, especially like these higher cost cards, are definitely going to have like, higher attack and higher defense. So that's something to keep in mind. However, there are probably going to be other abilities here where you actually have to where you can actually like summon banished characters back. Like Magic, you can do it, and Pokemon, you can do it too. So that's something to keep thinking about as you're playing this game and as you're trying to build these decks. You want to try to get as many counters as you possibly can, and as you see fit when it comes to this game. So let's see here. We have Olaf, who's another one cost, which is great. He's a 1/3, so of course you can keep taking pop shots at people. And he actually has, so some of these cards actually like have quotes and stuff. And the Olaf one says, "I'm Olaf and I like warm hugs." So, let's see here. Next card is we have Jumba Jukiba from huh? Jumba. Jumba Jukiba from Lilo and Stitch. He's a 5 cost card, and he is a 4/5, so he has 4 attack, 5 defense, which is actually pretty good. And for a 5 cost, that's really, really good. Considering like you're gonna want to do he's good for late game. Definitely good for late game, especially when it comes to trading. Looks like we have an Aladdin card here. No information yet. I think we're gonna get some more information on him soon. This Aladdin card is actually going to be in the starter decks for the game. We have Aurora coming out, which is actually going to be in another starter deck. I'm going to right now. There's not many cards. Um, Yeah, so Aurora is going to be in one of the starter decks with Simba, actually. Let's see here. Aurora is a 5 cost with a 3/5. We are getting another Maleficent card. We're getting a Moana card. Of course, we're getting Simba. We're getting a Sorcerer Mickey card. These next two are actually really, really cool. And I'm gonna bring them up, and then I'll bring up a couple of the ability cards here, and then like maybe one more character card. So they're actually going to be releasing a gift set for this game, also, which is going to have it's going to have 2 foil cards in it, and one of them is going to be Mulan as the Imperial Soldier. Mulan's going to be a 5 cost 4/5. And then you get Hades, King of Olympus, and it's actually Hades sitting on the Olympus throne. Really, really cool. 8 cost, 6/7. Looks like we're also going to be getting Scar as a card. He's going to be a 6 cost with a 5/4. We have another low cost card. This is one of the ability cards, called Healing Glow, and you can remove up to 2 damage from a chosen character, which is pretty cool. And then we also, another character card, our final character card that I'm going to talk about here, is the Wardrobe from Beauty and the Beast. It's a 3 cost, 3/4. So Really, really cool cards. And if you want to see these cards and you want to see the artwork for these cards, please check out lorcania.com. They are a wonderful part of the Lorcana community, and they will keep you up to date on a lot of the news when it comes to card releases and everything, as we're going to try to keep you up to date with that as well. Once again, this game comes out in August as a limited release for local game stores, and then it gets a global release on September 1st. It's gonna be at your big box retailers, probably Target, Walmart, Best Buy may get it, GameStop may get it too because they're like trying to do some more TCG stuff. Trying to think of other big box stores, maybe Costco might get them too, because Costco does have some Pokemon cards occasionally, so you never know. But I'm going to keep an eye on it, and as pre-orders come out, I will let you know. Amazon will probably be getting these as well. So if you don't want to go to any local big box retailers, keep checking Amazon, as they will probably put the pre-orders up as well. Ravensburger's website will probably have them too. So just keep all of that in mind. So we're about halfway through this episode because I'm going to keep this to about an hour, maybe an hour 15, maybe hour 20 tonight. So let's dive into chapter 18 of The Mandalorian. This is going to be a spoiler review of this episode. So if you have not seen it yet, please watch it and then come back and then and watch this or listen to our latest transmission burst. So let's dive in. I'm going to give you my overall thoughts before I dive into all of the spoilers here. I really enjoyed this episode. It's a fun action packed episode that actually really doubles down on the lore. So Ali and I were talking in our last live show about how we were kind of getting tired of seeing the side quests, and we really wanted them to really dive into the story. Well, boy howdy if John Favreau and team did not dive into this story when it comes to this latest episode of The Mandalorian. So this is your once again your final spoiler warning, and now we're going to dive into this. So we start off with Mando and Grogu on their way to Tatooine, and we see Pelimoto and Mando, and it's Bunta Eve at Mos Espa. And Mando and Grogu are looking for an IG. They're looking for the memory component for an IG droid. And there we actually get to see Pelimoto talk to Jawas in their language, which was actually a lot of fun to watch. Keep in mind, Pelimoto did date a Jawa because they talked about that in yes, they're very furry. They talked about that in the Book of Boba Fett. It was revealed in that. So, you know, I just lost my train of thought because I'm thinking about that. Anyway, she doesn't have any IG-11 components, but she tells Mando and Grogu to take the hero of the rebellion, the droid known as R5D4, with them to Mandalore so that they can scout everything out, take atmospheric readings, and then, really dive into the mines of Mandalore and get to the living waters. So they take a reluctant R5D4 to Mandalore, and we see the entire planet has been bombarded by the Empire. And we see all of this green, eerie glass and all of these rocks and everything. Like it's so haunting and so beautiful at the same time when you're looking at the planet Mandalore. So Mando sends R5 out to get some atmospheric readings, and as he's turning this corner, he's attacked by these creatures, And now it's up to Mando to go and save him. So Mando pressurizes his suit helmet and goes and saves R5D4 from these creatures. And when they come back, he gets the atmospheric readings from R5D4, and he realizes that the planet of Mandalore isn't poisoned, it's not cursed, it's still, it's a breathable atmosphere, and the Mandalorian people can actually come back to the planet, and start to rebuild. That's Din's thought process. And and so him and Grogu go into the mines of Mandalore, and when they're there, they're attacked. Mando, as they're going through the mines, Mando sees this old Mandalorian helmet, and he picks it up. And as he picks it up, a trap unfolds, and it's this spider crab cyborg thing that has pretty much been like slowly killing every Mandalorian that it's encountered and all of these creatures and everything. So so this creature takes Din back to its lair, and it's starting to ready Din for death, essentially. So Din tells Grogu to get back to the ship and get the ship to Bo-Katan and summon Bo-Katan so that Bo can come in and save the day. So Grogu successfully gets back to the N1 and then points to the planet that Bo-Katan's on and looks at R5D4, and they take off and they go to the planet. And when they arrive, Bo-Katan's droid walks up to her and says, "We have an unscheduled visitor." And then Bo-Katan looks out the window and sees the N1 coming in, and she says, "All right, I'll get rid of him myself." And she walks up, and as the cockpit door opens, or the canopy for the N1 opens, she just sees Grogu, and she says, "What happened to him?" And so then she launches a rescue to the planet Mandalore to rescue Din Djarin. And so her and Grogu enter the old city of Sundari and enter the mines, and they end up taking out all these creatures again. And we get to the creature's lair, or this cyborg robot crab creature. We get to its lair, and Bo-Katan goes to rescue Din, and she has to fight the cyborg robot crab thing, and she does, and we get to see her wield the dark saber in what was a moment where I almost got up out of my seat because I got so excited to see her wielding the dark saber and take on this threat in order to save Din Djarin. So she successfully kills this creature. She rescues Din Djarin, and then they're on this cliff face above the city of Sundari, and they're Din and Bo are talking, and Bo keeps talking about, yes, Bo does use it very, very easily, but they're talking about the planet Mandalore, and they're talking about Din's task of, you know, being baptized in the living waters under the mines of Mandalore. And Bo-Katan says, "Well, I've come this far. I'll take you to the waters, and that way you can complete your quest." So they go back into the mines of Mandalore, and as they're going back in, they arrive at the living waters, and Bo-Katan's talking about how she had to take the oath when she was younger in front of her dad, by standing in the waters, by standing in the living waters, and her dad looked on. And I really want to learn more about Bo-Katan and Satine's dad. Like, seriously, I really want to learn about him. Yeah, I'm talking about her dad, though. Yeah. But yeah, her taking the oath, I was getting to that point. Bo-Katan's talking to Din Djarin about taking the oath and baptizing herself in the waters of Mandalore, and she's talking about how it was all for show, just to appease her dad and to appease the people of Mandalore. That's why she did it. So one of the things that they explore and they actually talk about this is that the living waters of Mandalore, the living waters under the mines of Mandalore used to be a mythosaur lair. And from Legends continuity, and we get a little bit of this in the first in snippets in this show. We find out that the Mandalorians conquered the mythosaurs and actually tamed them and rode them. We get a lot of that in Legends, but we're starting to see it more now in current continuity. So we find out that it was a mythosaur layer, and that's why the mythosaur is actually symbolizes the Mandalorian people, because the mythosaur is actually a is an important part of their history. So Din Djarin walks into the waters and he starts taking the oath, and as he's taking the oath, something happens and he gets pulled under the water, and Bo Katan has to rescue him. That's my question too. Yeah, it's not clear. All we know is that he falls through the steps. We don't know if he's pulled or if he just, missed a step and like the whole step came crumbling down. We don't know, but I think we're gonna find out very, very soon. So Bo comes in and rescues him, and as which I got to tell you, that scene is shot so beautifully too. As she's rocketing back up to the surface with Din, we she's rocketing up and she encounters this object, and it turns out it's a mythosaur. A mythosaur is still living in the waters under the mines of Mandalore. And they get back up to the surface and they're catching their breath and everything. And as Din's laying there on his back, Bo Katan's looking out to the water and wondering what the hell just happened. And then that's how the episode ends. And I gotta tell you, like, this episode like really does a lot of world building for the Mandalorian culture and Mandalorian history, similar to what we got in a lot of Rebels. Like Clone Wars touches on it a lot because we get Death Watch, and we see Satine and we see the Civil War happening on Mandalore, but it's not until Rebels where we really start to dive into Mandalorian culture, especially when we find out about the Mandalorian Jedi who wielded the dark saber and tried to unite the people of Mandalore. Now we're really diving into the history of the people, especially with Bo Katan. And this is where I'm torn about who I want to see lead Mandalore. But honestly, because of this episode, I'm leaning more towards I want to see Bo Katan lead Mandalore because let's face it, her sister was the Duchess of Mandalore. Her sister was the legit leader of the planet and the people. So it would make sense for Bo Katan to be the new leader of Mandalore. Keep it in the family. Like, seriously, keep it in the family. And especially since she saw the mythosaur, she should be the one to lead. Yeah, she should be the one to lead. And here's another thing. She never asks for the dark saber. She just picks it up when a threat is there in order to save her friend. But she never asks for the dark saber. Yeah. Lee Bird's trading card says she's a great choice to lead Mandalore. She really is. She's the perfect choice to lead Mandalore, especially with all of her character growth in this episode. Yeah, and honestly, I will also say this about this episode. I love that Grogu takes a back seat in this episode. Like he does some important stuff you know, to help Din Djarin out, but I am so happy to see him take a back seat in this, where we can actually focus on the relationship between Din Djarin and Bo Katan, but also really focus on Bo-Katan because let's face it, between Rebels, Clone Wars, and this, we've seen her and we've gotten a bit of her backstory, but like we haven't like really gotten to know Bo-Katan, and we're starting to get to there now. And this to me is interesting because I feel like they kind of, did a 180 here with the story because by now we would be in what, side quest number 4 of the season? Uh, if this was season 1 or season 2, honestly. But like they really just dove in on this Mandalore story. Now, I'm also curious to see now that Din has, let's face it, Din baptized himself in the waters. It was clumsy, but it happened. Now, my thing is, how does he prove that he baptized himself? Does he like grab a jar of water and like he just goes up to the armorer, Jack Sparrow style, and says like, "I've got a jar of water"? Like, like, does he do that, or like how does he prove to the armorer that he did what he did? And even if he does prove to the armorer, is she just going to be like, yeah, okay, but you're still not a Mandalorian because now you have to stand in the middle of the square in Sundari and hop on one leg 5 times while spinning around, but you can't use your jetpack, and you've got to decapitate a creature with the dark saber, and only then can you be a Mandalorian. Like, I have a feeling like she's just going to keep like being like, well, no, now you got to do this. No, well, no, I did say that that's all you had to do, but now all you have to do is this. Like, to me, that's I'm like that's me just thinking like she's not going to buy this. And I have a feeling like she's just stringing Din along, and that he's eventually going to see that the children of the watch, while they are a noble people, are actually wrong for Mandalore. And Bo Katan's trying to teach that to Din as well in this episode. And he is starting to see it a lot more because he's like starting to question a lot of what the children of the watch believe in. Because and here's the thing, you also see it in the very first episode of the season, and that is when Din comes in and saves the day, even though he's banished and he's not a Mandalorian. He comes back and he saves the day, and the armorer still allows him to have an audience with her. So either she realizes she's wrong, or she knows that Din's starting to wisen up, and in order for him to continue to keep his oath with the children of the watch, he's got to go on, pardon my language, but these bullshit quests. Yeah, that's true. Mm. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, he's not part of the group. He can't sit at the cool kids table anymore. But let's face it, Din Djarin has his own cool kids table with Grogu and Bo-Katan and IG-11 and Pelimoto and Happy Taps and R5D4 and Cobb Vanth. Which, okay, let's get to Cobb Vanth here, because I was thinking about this and I want to go back to episode 1 real quick, and then I'll finish up my thoughts here on episode 2. With episode 1, we do hear about let's face it, they wrote out Cara Dune because they were like, how do we get rid of this problem? Oh, okay, let's write her out and make her recruited by Republic Special Forces. Grief Karga is looking for a new marshal, people. What's to stop Din Djarin from going back to Tatooine and just being like, hey, Boba, you know how you have Cobb in your back to tank? Let's bring him over to Navarro and make him the marshal of Navarro. I would be all for it, honestly. I would be all for it. So that's my brief thing on Cobb Vanth. But I have a feeling Cobb Vanth is going to play a role in this season Because let's face it, even though Cobb Vanth got the armor from Jawas, he did wear it, and honestly, I feel Cobb Vanth is as much of a Mandalorian as everybody else is. And I'm sorry, if Boba Fett is technically a Mandalorian, so is Cobb Vanth. I know, but Cobb Vanth's technically a Mandalorian too. So he's a Mandalorian. He's a Mando. We'll get into that argument at the end of the season. um, but those are my thoughts on this. I love this episode so much, and I love that they broke the norm when it comes to this show with all of the side quests and everything. We're really starting to see the battle for the Mandalorian people and the future of Mandalore starting to unfold. And we're going to start to see people drawing lines in the sand. I have a feeling that it's going to come down between Bo Katan and Din Djarin with whatever Mandalorians they recruit to their side against the Children of the Watch for the future of Mandalore. I really have a feeling that that's what we're going to get to. And if that's the case, bring on this battle. It's going to, because you have to admit, they have to have one final battle to determine who's going to lead this people. Who's going to lead these people? So that's where I'm leaning towards. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen here. And if it does, that's awesome. And if it doesn't, okay, that's cool. It's awesome too. I've made a lot of wrong predictions when it comes to this show and this podcast and everything. And you know what? I'm not afraid to admit that I've made mistakes. Because we all do when it comes to these predictions and everything. So, um, it's going to be interesting to see, especially going into this next episode. I'm really curious to see where they go now. Now that Din Djarin's done what he needs to do and Bo-Katan's seen the mythosaur, where do we go from here? So, I'm pretty much gonna wrap it up for the rest of the night, and then I'm gonna probably hang out for a while later tonight in our Discord server and everything. But um, I want to know your thoughts before we go tonight. What are your thoughts on this episode? And did you enjoy it? Did you actually like the break from the norm that we've been getting with these seasons of The Mandalorian? And if you didn't like the episode, let me know what you didn't like about it. I mean, we're all here to talk about this. We're all in this together, really. We enjoy these shows together. And then, I mean, that's it for me, my friends. We covered a lot tonight. I had a lot of fun talking about the Star Cruiser and the High Republic and Lorcana and the Mandalorian with you all. That I look forward to doing this every week, and I look forward to doing my audio bursts throughout the week, and just you know giving my thoughts and hearing your thoughts and just going through everything. I said this earlier. You all are the reason why I do this, and well, I also do this because I love to, and that's it. That's going to be it for us this week. We will be back again next week. I'm actually going to have some more transmission bursts for you this week. Going to be reviewing a few more High Republic comics that I just recently got caught up on that I still need to review. And I'm also going to be talking about Star Wars Bounty Hunters very soon, because I'm actually going through that comic series. And of course, as I get Lorcana information, I'm actually going to be, talking about that as well. So that's it for me this week. I hope that you all have a wonderful week. May the force be with you. May you always fight for light and life. And just remember, at the end of the day, we are all the Republic. Have a wonderful week, everybody. We will see you soon. Bye.